Hey, this is Karl Walinskas of Smart Company Growth, and what you've just been watching is one way that video helps promote small businesses. That was a 30 to 40 second video commercial, and we'll get more into that later as one of the primary ways that you can promote a small business with video. But we're here to talk about video marketing for high-value professional service firms, people who wear a white collar, a shirt and tie, and a suit or blazer to work. Let's talk first about the prevalence of web video. You know, the time that people spend on websites, the average time that people spend on websites is anywhere from 5 to 20 seconds. That's how fast people make a decision whether to stay on your website or to leave. Now, if they stay on your website, obviously that time is a lot higher than that. So for the average to be anywhere from 5 to 20 seconds on the internet, that means a lot of people are making the decision to sign off quickly based upon what they see. And most of what they see is written content. If you don't capture the eye immediately, they're signing off. Now let's contrast that to video. We all know about the prevalence of YouTube and how popular YouTube is. Let's just talk about exactly how popular it really is. Did you know that the average time that people spend on YouTube is anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes? And it's more like 20 minutes. When people go on YouTube, they spend up to 20 minutes looking at video. Well, why is that? It's because video captures them, it entertains them, and it contains their focus for a while so that they can learn some new things or at least be entertained. And that's important. If you're a small business owner, you would like to cash in on that and do the same thing. But how are you going to do it? Let's talk a little bit more about YouTube. This screenshot from Mashable is more than 2 years old. There's 20 hours of video uploaded to YouTube on every single minute, and that number is increasing. There's 10.5 million hours of video uploaded to YouTube every year, and YouTube's not the only player in the market. There's Vimeo and other places. Facebook holds a lot of videos that YouTube may or may not have, but YouTube happens to be the biggest fish in that pond. 10.5 million hours. So there's a lot of video out there. It's one of those scenarios that if you don't have website video promoting your business, you're sort of missing the boat. So let's talk about why web video. Why is it so important these days? Well, we live in a media-driven culture. How many people read the newspaper anymore? You might ask yourself that question. And if you do, God love you. Most people look at the television. Even if they're looking for news, they try and watch CNN or Fox News. We're surrounded by entertainment. Our attention spans are shorter and shorter. If you ever watch a sitcom these days, people's perspectives have to change every 6 to 7 seconds in order to capture our attention and keep us interested. People like to be informed, but they also like to be entertained. So how can you do that? And entertainment doesn't necessarily have to mean a sitcom or an action movie with explosions. Entertainment can mean a pleasant way of learning new information. We're entertained by Discovery Channel all the time. We're entertained by Animal Planet and educational programming. So you don't necessarily have to be entertained with silly things or sitcoms, laughter, and excitement. Quite frankly, video increases the likelihood of people clicking on based upon the things that we just said about how popular web video is. When people see a video, they're much more likely to investigate it by clicking on it, as opposed to when it's text, they can already tell within reading 2 or 3 words if they want to even pursue it or not. So they won't even click on it. So when you want people to enter a page or enter a video, just by having the video player box up with the ability to play it and click on it, it increases the likelihood that your customers and prospects are going to take action. And that's important. Why else? Well, there's a hidden benefit to web video. Google, Yahoo, and Bing, your major search engines, and all your minor search engines, they just absolutely love web video. For those of you who didn't know, Google has purchased YouTube. So even though Google says that they're not preferential to YouTube traffic or YouTube videos when they do their search results, you be the judge. Video also plays very well on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and all the other major social media sites. Facebook has a ton of video on it, and people love to watch it. And of course, you can tweet your favorite videos around as well. So video provides additional search engine optimization benefits for your website that text copy normally doesn't provide. So let's talk about professional services. You know, this video is about is video for professional services and why it makes a special impact on professional services. First of all, let me tell you, web video can help any business, whether it's a manufacturing business, if you're in healthcare, retail, or restaurants. Video can certainly help you. We all know the realtors have been helped out by video walkthroughs of properties, and many of them put it on their real estate web pages. Video can help any business for the search engine optimization alone, much less higher engagement level of your prospects and customers. But service businesses, they're a special animal. Why is that? Well, for the first thing is they have no tangible product to display. I mean, if your business is someone walking in with a problem and you need to question them, diagnose that problem, provide solutions, your product is intellectual property. You don't have a widget to display that you can run a demonstration of, or you don't have a factory to show where you can display production processes or your brand new laser equipment or your brand new medical equipment. You have a challenge because it's very difficult to graphically display intellectual property. The nature of your business is personal interaction. I talked about if you had to diagnose problems and provide solutions, you're what I would call a white-collar professional in the business of high-value professional services. If that is your business, people know that they're going to have to deal with you in a question and answer period. They're going to have to converse with you either on the phone or face-to-face. So people like to do business with people that they do like. Video is one of the ways that you can get them to that place much faster. You live and die by trust and personal fit. Trust is capitalized and bolded here for a reason. Because in any of those situations where you provide, I'll call high-value professional services or advice, and you get paid for it, you probably don't get paid a little. You probably get paid a lot. For people to in today's economy, with a recessionary economy, to scratch out a check to you for advice, whether it's personal counseling or business counseling of some kind, if you're going to do their finances, or if you're going to do the books for the business, or if you're going to do architecture or engineering work, or provide legal advice, people want to trust you, because if they don't trust you, they're never going to want to part with the cash that it takes to even engage you in the first place. So they want to make sure that they have a personal fit, that they like you, and that they at least believe that you're competent to do the job. And guess what? Most of these professional services businesses have relied for years on personal referrals. The problem is that in a recessionary income, personal referrals become unreliable. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Sometimes the people who used to refer business to you, their business is down. So instead of referring that business, they've expanded their service offerings and are taking that business on themselves, and they're not referring it to you anymore. If you're in that place where you've seen your level of referrals go down, or they gotten to the point where you can't count on them anymore, well, then you might want to consider a different way to generate leads. And video is one of those leads, and I'll make the case for that here. And one of the challenges is that most white-collar websites, they look alike. At least they look alike within their industry. And I'm going to pick on lawyers here for a minute, but how many websites have you been to for legal services where you've seen an image something like this? Well, we know what a gavel looks like, and we all know what prison bars look like, and those are the images that are associated with the legal profession, and most of the websites have them, and that's all well and good, but what is there to distinguish one attorney from the next? Nothing. This is why you can use video to set yourself apart. The reality is, people need to know what makes you unique. If you're in professional services and you don't have hard products that you can demonstrate, display, or show with photographs, you need to show them what makes you different. How do you add value to their lives, to their businesses, to their personal lives? What do you do that's so special that other people don't? And really what people want to know is, why should they do business with you? If they hit your business website or your social media page, they need to understand, why should I work with you as opposed to the next guy? And from a standpoint of lead generation, that means, why should I pick up the phone or fill in your contact form? because, quite frankly, I'm a little bit lazy and I don't want to do it. You need to convince me that you're the right person to be doing business with. What are some of the best ways you can promote using video? Well, there's a bunch of them. I call these the Elite 8 of types of videos, and you saw one before we even got started. That was an intro commercial. That was a little flashy and had a lot of high-powered and high-paced music. There are other ways to do intro commercials too, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but it's just something, a statement about your business. But in a professional service provider's case, oftentimes it's good to put a face on that business so that people understand that they're dealing with real people that they can know and start to develop a trust relationship with. You can use product demos. This doesn't apply as much to professional services, but it can if you have a software package or if you do something that is particularly unique that you could show with a web video. Most of the time this works for manufactured products, things that you can hold in your hand or things that you can film, like cars going from 0 to 60 in X amount of seconds. You can also showcase technical capabilities. If you're a service firm that does something better than everybody else because you have a new technology or an unusual technology that everybody doesn't have. For instance, if you're a manufacturing company and you do sheet metal work and you just bought a high-powered water jet cutter and a laser, there are places that have those, but many don't. So that is something that could give you a technical edge, and you make the case by showing the equipment and showing the demonstration that those technical capabilities, of course, lead to a better experience for the customer and lower price, higher quality, those types of things. You can do company spotlights. This is real social media type thing, relationship building. You can use video to relate to the employees in your own company and to show a human side, a caring side, a nurturing company by spotlighting key employees in your company or key activities, key things that you've done, awards, recognitions that you've been recognized by third-party outfits such as an ISO 9000 registration or special awards that your firm has won in its field. You can do what's called a landing page combo. A landing page is a product-specific page that people go to. It's designed to do one thing. They're either going to leave that page or they're going to buy the product at the end of the sales pitch. You see this a lot with online marketing, and much of that has a video associated with it. There's some text landing pages too, but more and more often video is being played along with a long copy text sales page in order to get somebody with hands-free, no involvement at all on the part of the person involved, to go from hitting the web page to cracking out their credit card at the very end. You can also provide instructional content. I call these vlogs. Many people are blogging these days. Blogging is a very good idea. It gets your name out there. It gets you out into the world of cyberspace and gets your content out there with backlinks to your site. Video logs are even better. They're more instructional. They can be more entertaining, and people, as we've already discussed, will click on them. You can use it for proof sources. What are proof sources? They're testimonials and case studies, things that third-party credibility about you, other people, customers talking about your business, or somebody relating a case study where you took a company from A to Z with your services. You can use video to demonstrate that. And you can do video interviews, which is a third-party interview interviewing a key executive, a president, a CEO, or someone else within the company about given products, given services, or the company at large. It puts a face on the company, and the interviewer, if he or she is professional enough, will set you up to look good. So what can you spotlight with web video? Well, let's talk about it. The first thing you want to spotlight on your business website is your competitive advantage. And by that I mean a true competitive advantage, not a thing that someone else can claim. Oftentimes companies think their competitive advantage is that they've got great people or that they produce high quality. That may be true, and it's great that you're proud of it, but in the marketplace it doesn't give you much of an edge because every company claims that. Things that provide you with a competitive advantage are things like third-party awards and designations or media write-ups. They're things like special processes or techniques that you have patents on or things that you only do. It's very important to determine what that is, get it out quickly on your video so people will want to continue watching. There's two reasons anybody would want to watch your video on your website. The first is to learn more about you and what makes you tick so that they can make a decision whether or not to call you or hit your contact form. The second is they want to be better for the experience. You can provide them with information such as industry trends or the ways your industry is changing the way that you work, such that your visitors can now learn from the experience and be better for it. Really, any type of content takeaway that they can get that once having watched your video, they are better people or they're more informed or educated than they were before is great web video. As long as you keep it moving and keep it somewhat interesting and you're demonstrating your expertise while providing them with value, that's a winning video. Now I want to tell you a little bit about a product we've developed. I'm very excited about it. It's called SmartView Executive Video Interviews. These are video interviews that are done via Skype between a professional interviewer and an executive on your staff. Usually it's the CEO or the president, but it can be vice presidents or other people as well. And that demonstrate the credibility of the business and the expertise that they bring to the table for the customers. Take a look at this following example.
Maybe we ought to start with just the first thing I said, like when you run your company and you're not there. And I know your goal, the goal of Virtual Business Lifestyle, is to show people how to separate themselves from the day-to-day of their company and operate a profitable business out of the office. What are the top things that you do to make that happen?
I was sitting in an office, beautiful building in LA earlier on this year with one of my clients, and we were talking about this. And I always say when I team with clients, I'm not a service provider, I'm not a vendor in any way, shape, or form. I'm a business partner. And just like in real life, if I, partner up with anyone in a business standpoint, I also like those people to at least be friends of mine, because my whole deal is that, it's great to make money with people, but if you can make money with people who are also friends and you can see them enjoying it and you can see them making money at the same time, it's such a great deal for everyone involved. So I'm sitting there and I'm speaking to this client who I deem is also a friend in some sorts. And he's like, how the hell do you do it, Chris? How can you remove yourself like that, from managing all these people and not be there for extended periods of time, whether it be for a few days each week or a couple of weeks out of a month or whatever the case may be, and not worry and not fret and not, get, Advil requiring headaches on a bi-daily basis or whatever the case may be, because he himself admitted to me that he could not do it. He just couldn't see himself not going into the office every single day. He just felt like nothing would be achieved and that he would just lose all control on, everything that goes on. So
you might ask yourself, so why SmartView video interviews? Well, there's a couple of reasons, really. The first is it provides you with third-party credibility. A interview with Larry King or Matt Lauer on the television means the world to a book author. Oprah used to be worth 100,000 copies of a book just to get on that show because of the credibility and the audience that they bring. There's also a dynamic of someone talking to you, showing an interest in what your business does. That credibility comes across in an interview where you're answering questions about the business. And then there's an authenticity involved. A video interview is just a window on a conversation between two business professionals. I tell some of my clients who get nervous when they stumble or if they pause for a second when they're considering an answer to a question, that's okay. That's how people talk, and people recognize that. This is how people actually are. This is how people talk when they're interviewed on Fox News or CNN. You see the same thing. So there's nothing different. Actors cost a lot more, and they're very, very polished. And if they're too polished, it actually gives people the creeps because people recognize that it's an actor talking about you instead of someone within the company who has the control and the ownership or the talent of the company speaking about itself. Generates a professional image. If you sold products and hardware and widgets, you'd have those to be able to display and show in a demonstration video. You don't have that. You're selling a relationship. You're selling the ability to get a job done, to provide results. The professional SmartView video interviews give you that image for your company that you want to promote to your prospects and clients. It's very easy for small businesses to create. Most of the time, my clients in these SmartView video interviews only have to spend between 20 and 30 minutes on the day of the shoot. That goes from the time they sit down in front of their computer to the time I set them up and we position them in front of the camera and get the room lighting all correct and that sort of thing, to the time we shoot the video and they're finished. And the rest of it's up to us. The gentleman that you just watched in the sample video, by the way, was from the Philippines, 12 hours removed from where I am on the East Coast of the United States. Another thing that these video interviews allow you to do is bridge time and space using the virtual tools of the internet. It's very, very easy to create. And you get an incredible bang for the buck. If you were to hire a video crew, besides disrupting your business for the day and charging their day minimum, you're looking at $2,000 to $3,000 for somebody to come in. And if you're a large business, that's great. You can do that and bring those people in, and you can do shoots in your office and that sort of thing. For small business, they're looking for something affordable that will give them just as much professional image for the business and just as much search engine optimization on the web, and the SmartView video interviews fulfill both of those requirements. So what do you get? Well, the types of videos that we do are 2 to 3 minute shorts. These are usually product specific or service feature specific, where there's 1 or 2 questions that are asked and an executive elaborates on what about that business division is so special for its customers. You can get a little more at length into a 5-minute video where you ask 3 or 4 things. You get a little more in depth. You still usually single topic specific, but these are also good for message from the CEO or what we call business FAQ interviews, something that talks about the company from a global perspective and the value it delivers to its customers. And then you can get into a longer interview, a 10 to 15 minute detailed package. These are great for vlogs or video blog interviews where you're providing some real instructional content for the people that are watching it. You may actually get into holding some things up, some graphs or charts or whatever, but you're providing some more detailed value. It's not just an informational talking about your company. If you wanted to do that in 10 to 15 minutes, I would recommend against it if you were my client. These are also great for book authors who are trying to go through a couple of chapters and demonstrate some credibility, on-air credibility for others in the media who they can show this video to. And I'm talking television and radio producers who are looking to fill show content. And of course, the book author is looking to get some public relations bang for the buck out of it. Some of the features that you get a video plan and coaching. What's a video plan? Well, these things don't just happen organically. You have to set it up, and that usually involves a conversation between our office and executives from your office about what is your competitive advantage, what point are you trying to make, and some of the things that should be covered during the video, and setting up the questions that should be asked. So you can plan answers to those questions in a natural way. You're not just blindsided by it. There's also the coaching that goes on during the day of the shoot. That has everything to do with getting you comfortable, getting you positioned, setting up the room lighting, making sure the technology is working correctly, and then coaching somebody through the interview process. And if they happen to stumble a few times, that's okay. We just keep rolling until we get it right. And you get a professional interviewer, somebody like me or some of the other folks that I have doing these who actually will talk to you, set up the questions, make you look good, paraphrase when appropriate your answers, and sometimes bring in relevant examples from their own business experience that support your point and bolster your case as to why people should be interested in doing business with you. And one of the things you get is a 3-camera perspective. The way we record these things is there's a camera on your face, a camera on our face of the interviewer, and then when those two are brought together, you'll see 2 heads on the screen at one time. In our finish editing process, this is where that all comes together, and it all depends on the flow of the conversation and the answers and the questions. As appropriate, when there's a dialogue going on, both heads will be on there. But unlike maybe some other video interviews you may have seen on YouTube where both heads are constantly on the screen, if you're making a point and you're going on for a couple of minutes about what's good about your company, it doesn't do the viewer any good to see an interviewer on the other side nodding or playing with his thumbs. So we edit that kind of stuff out and the perspective changes. And we already talked about the attention span of the average person in the world today in this media-driven culture. These changes in perspective actually help with the watchability
Good morning, Lori.
of your video.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
I'd like to talk to you a little bit about market rate multifamily housing. You know, savvy investors are picking these things up now at rock bottom prices along California coast and in Nevada. And you know, sometimes in unfamiliar places in the market. I guess my question to you would be, why would an investor want to hire EBMC to handle these real estate investments?
Well, Carl, Eugene Berger Management Corporation has been managing multifamily housing now for about 40 years. And our offices are strategically located throughout California and Nevada. And with that in mind, it does give us the ability to understand the marketplaces very well. You know, it's very different being in San Francisco as it is in Palmdale, and the labor forces and vendors in those locations are very different. And understanding those and being able to maximize the best use and at the best price really gives us an advantage.
Well, who interviews? Who at your company would be interviewed? Well, it starts with the CEO and the president, especially if you're giving message from the CEO or the top executive or a business FAQ, but it can be other executives as well, vice presidents of divisions who need to talk specifically about that division, even people within the company, if somebody can carry on a conversation and who is business expert on that particular subject. I already mentioned this is great for book authors who are trying to promote their book and their interviewability and their ability to entertain for people in the media. Also works great for transitioning executives who are outlaying their talent in a video resume format. This is what I get a lot from LinkedIn people, inquiries about video resumes. Really, any spokesperson who brings value to the table, who brings information that makes the viewer at least more compelled to pick up the phone and give you a call, or leaves them with more information than they had before they left. If you want to learn more about these SmartView video interviews, just simply visit smartcompanygrowth.com and follow any of the links that you see regarding the video interviews, and there will be several that you'll be able to find. I hope you found this information helpful and that you as a small business owner are really considering getting video up on your website and in your social media profiles. It will work wonders as far as lead generation and brand awareness for you. And happy shooting your videos, and I will see you soon. Have a great year.